Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and felt something wasn't quite right, like a quiet darkness hiding behind their smile? You couldn't explain why, but your body felt it before your mind could catch up. They didn't insult you. They didn't shout. Yet every time they walked away, something inside you felt smaller, colder, almost as if your soul had been touched by something unnatural. That's because true evil doesn't always come dressed in chaos. It doesn't need to scream or break things to destroy. Often it shows up calmly, wearing the perfect mask, helpful, attentive, even kind. But behind the charm lies something far more dangerous, a calculated desire to control, to drain, and to break you from the inside out. According to Stoic philosophy, one of the most important acts of self-protection is learning to observe people deeply, not just by what they say, but by what they do to your spirit. Marcus Aurelius warned us to keep our minds guarded, for not everyone who smiles is a friend. Some are thieves of peace, masters of manipulation who feed on your doubt and slowly reshape your reality. The terrifying part. You often don't realize it's happening until you've already lost something you can't name. But there's power in awareness. Because evil, no matter how clever, always leaves a trace. In today's video, we'll explore 6 red flags that reveal when someone next to you is not just difficult, but deeply destructive. These signs are subtle, but unmistakable if you know what to look for. Learn them, and you'll stop inviting the wrong people into your life. Master them, and you'll protect not just your peace, but your identity, your purpose, your inner strength. If you're ready to see behind the mask and take full command of your energy and boundaries, make sure you're subscribed. Now, let's begin. Number 1, they twist reality through constant deception. When someone repeatedly distorts the truth, they're not just being dishonest. They're building a world where only their version of events exists. In healthy relationships, truth serves as the compass, guiding understanding and connection. But with malicious individuals, truth becomes a weapon, something they bend and reshape to control outcomes and people. What makes these liars so dangerous is that they don't lie out of necessity. They lie because they enjoy the control it gives them. It starts with subtle shifts in the narrative, a harmless misquote here, an altered memory there. But as time passes, the discrepancies grow. One day, they'll swear something happened, only to act as if it never did the next. And when you call it out, they won't admit it. Instead, they'll gaslight you, accusing you of being confused, paranoid, or dramatic. This is not carelessness. It's psychological warfare. These people plant seeds of doubt in your mind, so you begin to mistrust your own thoughts. You start wondering if you got it wrong, if maybe you remembered it differently. That self-doubt is exactly what they want. Because when you no longer trust your own perception, it becomes much easier for them to steer your emotions, your choices, even your beliefs. The worst part, they lie when there's nothing to lose by telling the truth. They deceive even when honesty would serve just as well. That's when you know it's not about protection or self-preservation. It's about power. They lie to test how far they can push. They lie to see if you'll question them or simply stay quiet. And when you let it slide, you unknowingly give them permission to keep doing it. To a Stoic, mental clarity is not optional, it is essential. A mind clouded by confusion cannot pursue virtue or wisdom. If someone repeatedly warps the truth around you, that's not just a flaw. That's a direct threat to your inner peace. Every conversation becomes a trap. Every interaction a performance designed to keep you off balance. Don't ignore it. Don't excuse it. This kind of behavior isn't just manipulation. It's erosion of your confidence, your stability, your identity. If being around someone leaves you constantly unsure of what's real, step back. Trust your intuition. Guard your peace. Because someone who casually rewrites the truth will never hand it to you willingly. You'll have to reclaim it yourself. Number 2, they thrive in the shadows of chaos. Most people seek peace. Even when disagreements arise, they hope for resolution, understanding, or at least distance from unnecessary drama. But there are certain individuals who operate differently. They're not just comfortable with conflict, they crave it. It fuels them. While others avoid emotional turbulence, these people treat every misunderstanding as an opportunity, every disagreement as a spark to ignite a fire. They're not loud about it at first. They plant discord in quiet, strategic ways. Small comments loaded with double-meaning, vague accusations, delivered at just the right moment, or subtle shifts in tone that instantly change the energy of a room. They don't just notice tension, they create it. And what's more disturbing, they enjoy it. These people are not misunderstood. They're deliberate. They might smile through their manipulation, but they're always scanning for fault lines, fragile moments, wounded egos, or unspoken grievances they can exploit. Where most of us would feel regret over harming a relationship, they feel power. To them, conflict isn't uncomfortable, it's exhilarating, a way to remind themselves that they can control the emotional temperature of any room they walk into. The Stoics taught that peace comes not from controlling the world, but from mastering our reactions to it. Yet these chaos breeders aim to disrupt exactly that inner peace. They feed on confusion. They want you emotionally rattled, distracted, and reactive. Because the more stirred up you are, the less anchored you become, and the easier you are to manipulate. Think about it. Has someone ever turned a joyful gathering into a cold silence with just one sentence? Have you watched people grow distant after subtle rumors were spread? Have you felt the shift in energy when one person enters the room and suddenly everything feels tense? That's no accident. That's strategy. And they're playing a game most people don't even realize they're part of. But you don't have to participate. The Stoic response to this isn't rage. It's clarity. It's the discipline to recognize when someone is trying to pull you into their storm, and the strength to stay centered in your own calm. You don't have to argue. You don't need to expose them. All you need to do is see them for what they are, and limit their access to your peace. Because anyone who constantly stirs conflict is not seeking truth or resolution, they're seeking control. And the longer you allow them to stay close, the more chaos they'll bring to your life. Choose peace. Choose boundaries. Choose the strength to walk away when someone tries to drag you into the darkness they live in. Number 3, they distort your reality to make you the villain. One of the most dangerous weapons in the hands of a toxic person isn't anger, it's doubt. Not doubt in them, but doubt in yourself. They don't need to raise their voice or issue threats. All they need is time, patience, and a subtle push here and there to make you question everything you think you know. This slow, creeping erosion of your self-trust is no accident. It's a tactic, and it works. It begins innocently enough. You bring up something that bothered you. They laugh and say, "You're too sensitive." You remember a conversation clearly. They assure you it never happened. You try to express hurt, and they twist the narrative so that you end up apologizing for even speaking up. It's a psychological game, and the goal is simple: make you feel like the problem every single time. And here's the cruelest part. After enough of these encounters, you actually start to believe it. You begin to silence yourself before they even have to. You wonder if you misunderstood, if your emotions are overblown, if maybe you are too difficult. And right there in that moment of hesitation, they gain control. Because when you stop trusting your own memory, your feelings, your instincts, you begin to rely on them for clarity. And that's exactly what they want. You become easier to manage, easier to manipulate, easier to keep in line. A truly caring person will listen, even if they don't agree. They'll respect your emotions even when they're uncomfortable. But someone with malicious intent isn't interested in resolution, they want control. And the easiest way to control someone is to strip away their confidence one disagreement at a time. The Stoics taught that our perceptions matter, that what we believe shapes how we live. But when someone persistently rewrites your experiences, they are not just lying to you. They are reshaping your identity. They are training you to mistrust yourself so that their voice becomes louder than your own. If every interaction with someone leaves you confused, ashamed, or defensive, stop and pay attention. That's not healthy disagreement. That's strategic invalidation. And it's not love. It's manipulation in its most dangerous form. You don't need their approval to stand in your truth. You don't need their permission to believe what you know happened. Your clarity is yours to protect, and anyone who tries to take that from you isn't just toxic. They're a threat to your peace. Guard your mind. Stand tall in your perception. Because when someone tries to make you the villain in your own story, the most powerful thing you can do is refuse to play the role. Number 4, they weaponize their suffering to escape responsibility. Everyone faces hardship. Pain, setbacks, and injustice are part of the human experience. But what separates a person of strength from one with a destructive mindset is how they respond. A person with integrity owns their struggles and learns from them. A person with darker intentions, they cling to victimhood, not as a path to healing, but as a shield to deflect blame, and a sword to manipulate those around them. To them, nothing is ever their fault. Every mistake is someone else's doing. Every failed relationship, every broken promise, every conflict, they're simply the misunderstood casualty. They don't reflect. They don't grow. They point fingers at the world, their parents, their exes, even you. And over time, they expect you to carry that burden with them. At first, it may look like harmless self-pity. You sympathize. You comfort. You try to support them. But soon, you notice the pattern: their problems never change. Their pain always takes center stage. And no matter what you do, it's never enough. Your compassion becomes a tool in their hands, a leash they tighten every time you try to walk away. And when you finally speak up, when you gently suggest they take responsibility, or when you set a boundary, the tables turn. Instantly, suddenly, you become the heartless one. "How could you do this to me?" they cry. Your rational concern becomes an act of cruelty. Their refusal to change becomes your failure to be patient, loving, or understanding enough. It's a psychological trap, one designed to keep you tethered by guilt and confusion. But Stoic philosophy reminds us, we are not in control of what others do. We are only in control of how we respond. And choosing to stay entangled with someone who constantly rejects responsibility isn't compassion. It's self-destruction. Because those who refuse to grow will make sure you shrink to accommodate them. Ask yourself, are you always excusing their behavior? Do you feel guilty for needing space, for saying no, for protecting your own peace? Do their problems seem endless, yet every attempt at a solution is met with resistance. If so, you're not in a relationship. You're in a trap. A person who weaponizes their pain doesn't want healing. They want control. They want attention. They want sympathy without accountability. And if you're not careful, they'll drain your energy, your clarity, and eventually your sense of self-worth. You owe it to yourself to step away from those who build their identity around being a victim, especially when they use it to manipulate and accuse. You are not cruel for choosing peace. You are not selfish for choosing truth. See the pattern. Honor your boundaries. And when their story no longer adds up, don't explain. Don't argue. Just walk away. Number 5. They diminish your progress and magnify your flaws. Not all harm comes from rage or violence. Some of the most damaging behaviors arrive quietly disguised as feedback concern or harmless remarks. These individuals don't need to yell or insult you directly. Instead, they chip away at your confidence bit by bit through steady, one-sided criticism, always pointing out where you fall short, never acknowledging how far you've come. You'll notice something strange with them. No matter how hard you work, how much you evolve, or how significant your success, there's always a reason it's not enough. Maybe you landed a new job, hit a personal milestone, or finally achieved something that took real effort and resilience. But when you share it with them, their response is cold, indifferent, or quietly competitive. They'll offer a backhanded compliment, change the subject, or worse, use your moment to bring up their own greater achievement. It's not just that they ignore your progress, it's that they resent it. These people don't want to see you rise, because every time you grow, it threatens the illusion of their superiority. So instead, they subtly undermine you, minimizing your wins, highlighting your flaws, and keeping the focus on what you haven't done. If you make progress, they move the goalposts. If you gain confidence, they inject just enough doubt to make you question it. And over time, this takes a toll. Even the most resilient minds can begin to internalize these jabs. You start to believe that maybe you are falling short, that maybe you're not doing as well as you thought. This is not humility. This is manipulation. A truly supportive person celebrates your growth. They lift you when you rise and walk with you when you fall. But someone who constantly critiques while never offering genuine encouragement isn't helping you improve. They're trying to keep you small. Their praise is conditional, their standards shifting, and their comparisons endless. As Stoic philosophy reminds us, the opinion of others does not define our worth. We are to measure our progress by our own efforts, our own virtue, not by the shifting standards of those who fear our strength. So ask yourself, do you feel drained after sharing your wins with this person? Do they always find something wrong in your joy? Do they elevate themselves while silencing your pride? If the answer is yes, it's time to step back. Your journey isn't theirs to minimize. Your progress doesn't need their approval. Don't let the bitterness of others sour your path. Protect your confidence. Honor your achievements. And above all, never hand your worth to someone who's afraid of your light. Let them sit in their shadow. You were meant to rise. Number 6, they exhibit an utter absence of empathy or genuine compassion. Empathy is the thread that weaves humanity together, the remarkable capacity to share in someone else's sorrow or rejoice in their triumphs. It allows us to feel another's heartache, to rejoice in another's delight, and ultimately to see each other as fellow beings deserving of care and kindness. Yet those with malevolent intent operate on an entirely different frequency. They are emotionally barren. When you are overwhelmed by deep sorrow, When the loss of a loved one or a significant failure buries you under a weight of despair, these individuals remain unmoved. They do not pause to acknowledge your pain with understanding, nor do they lend any comfort beyond a detached acknowledgement that borders on indifference. Instead of offering solace, or even the mildest gesture of compassion, they present you with a blank stare or a dismissive remark, as if your suffering were merely a trivial inconvenience. If they ever do address your distress, it's with a cool detachment, or at times they twist the conversation to focus on themselves, diminishing your pain as if it were common currency, something everyone experiences and should quickly overcome. Their lack of true emotional response is palpable, creating a chilling barrier that prevents any genuine connection. The Stoic philosophy teaches that while we must learn to govern our reactions to life's unpredictability, it does not endorse the cold suppression of empathy. True strength lies in the balance between resilience and the capacity to care deeply for others. In stark contrast, these emotionally barren individuals seem to believe that by disconnecting from the feelings of those around them, they are empowered. They view people not as fellow human beings with intrinsic value, but rather as mere instruments to be manipulated, used, and discarded once they no longer serve their purpose. This way of living not only isolates them from genuine connection, but also leaves a trail of emotional devastation in their wake. When you are in the presence of such a person, you may feel invisible, as if your emotions are unworthy of notice. Instead of being comforted in times of distress, you're met with an unyielding aura of indifference, reinforcing a sense of isolation that they deliberately cultivate. This isolation is not a mere byproduct of their behavior, it is their strategy. By ensuring you feel unseen and unheard, they make it remarkably easy to control and diminish your sense of self-worth. It is essential to recognize that the absence of empathy is not simply a character flaw or an awkward inability to express care. It is a potent warning sign. An individual who consistently disregards your feelings or treats your experiences as insignificant is not just emotionally distant. They pose a tangible threat to your well-being. Their callous disregard can erode your confidence and leave you vulnerable to further manipulation. Understanding this dynamic is crucial. Do not mistake their lack of emotional connection for a benign personality quirk. It is a deliberate stance, a refusal to acknowledge the depth of human emotion, and a clear indicator of their inability to offer any genuine warmth or support. The emotional void they create is as dangerous as it is undeniable, and protecting your mental and emotional health means recognizing when someone's apathy overshadows their capacity for care. Your feelings matter, and you deserve to be surrounded by individuals who value your experiences and share in your highs and lows. Should you find yourself repeatedly met with indifference or subtle dismissal, trust that instinct. It is not your burden to shoulder the emptiness of someone else's soul. Instead, honor your own need for compassion and seek the company of those who recognize the power of empathy to heal and unite. I know this can be hard to face, especially when your heart wants to believe in someone. But seeing these red flags early can save you years of pain and confusion. Harmful people often don't reveal themselves loudly. They erode your peace quietly. Remember this: you don't owe your energy to anyone who drains you. Once you recognize the truth, you have the power to walk away and protect your peace, even if it hurts. If this spoke to you, share your story in the comments. Your experience might help someone else, and if you're focused on growth, clarity, and guarding your energy, subscribe now. There's more to come on navigating toxic people and staying strong through it all. Take care of your heart and always trust your instincts.